Welcome to LifeBlood. This is George G, and the time is right. Welcome to today's guest, strong and powerful Jeff Arnold. Jeff, are you ready to do this?
And I'm excited. I've been excited ever since we connected on our calendars.
I love it. I'm excited as well. Jeff is the president of RIGHTSURE Inc. They're offering consumers a wide selection of insurance solutions and a hassle-free purchasing process. He's also a best-selling author many times over and a speaker. I believe a dad and a human being and a thinker as well. Jeff, tell us a little bit about your personal life, some more about your work, and why you do what you do.
Passion, man, right? If you, everyone starts life with a passion about something. I've been fortunate, as odd and quirky as it may be, to have a lifelong passion about a word that most people just don't even think twice about: insurance, right? But how in the world it can be sexy, exciting, and awesome, people don't understand. But to me, right, it can be the way we transfer risk and work through things of Lloyd's of London and other insurance stuff. So that's what I love, right? The passion about writing about what we do and doing what we do on a daily basis.
Nice. Transferring risk. I think that if we were to align sexiest words in the world, for most people, that'd probably be in the lower quadrant, but not for you, Jeff.
Fact.
So I've been working in financial services for 20 plus years, and I definitely happened into it. I did not know that I would find these things to be sexy and exciting. You?
My apologies. No, I also really kind of happened into it. If I can bore your listeners with a story, it might be a little long in words, but I'll try to be succinct. I'm 14 years old, standing on a hay bale in Western Kentucky. Everyone in my family is either preachers or farmers, or to escape, they join the military, right? That's how it happens. So I'm standing on a hay bale working tobacco and hay with my friend Chuck. Up drives this guy in a 4-door Buick with the windows up. Which to your audience, that should mean the man has air conditioning. This is fantastic, right? So awesome. He steps out of his 4-door air-conditioned Buick with a nice crisp shirt, white iron shirt, and some slacks, dressed up. So I poked my friend on the hay bale next to him. Hey, Chuck, what's that guy do? And he said, insurance or something like that. Fast forward a decade, I had done some theater and drama, trying to escape my little town too. In North Hollywood, I got 3 months. I have nothing signed up, and I haven't been super successful at anything, right? So I head back to Tucson just to meet my mom for Thanksgiving. I have to get a job, pay rent, put gas in the car. Here's the cliche part. I answer an ad that says insurance salesman wanted. And so a decade after I saw the guy step out of the thing, I'm like, well, let's go. Let's try this. And when you're supposed to do something or it just resonates in your being, a flip, a switch just flipped inside my body. I fell in love with it from the first day on. And here I am 31 years later. So again, a lot of words, but
no, it's awesome.
I just kind of happened into it too. But it was this kind of neat route that took a decade to come to fruition.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Insurance salesman wanted. I wonder how that ad would play today. We all have these experiences, and it causes us to sort of be wired in a certain way, right? We all have these operating systems, and your really positive experience with a professional looking person in a great looking car with air conditioning, insurance, good. Do most people, do you find that this is something they want to think about? Is it something they never want to think about? And how do you meet that desire one way or another?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I would submit to you that they do not desire to think about it, nor is it at top of mind, right? So two kind of different directions to that question. Let's do the first one. We challenge customers of RightSure to just for a moment stop and think long term how much you will or have paid for insurance in your lifetime, right? And so when you aggregate total sum, all of the dollars that you pay or will pay over your lifetime, it is a significant amount of money, right?
Mhm.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars. So the first direction of the conversation is that's why I wrote my book, How to Beat Your Insurance Company, right? Because it explains how to help people beat the insurance companies, and not like negative claim stuff or questionable coverage things, but really how to plan, how to be specific, disciplined, and approach insurance with a new way of thinking that doesn't just involve, hey, every year I'll shop and save 15%, because mostly what happens is in our business, like any other business, you get what you pay for.
Mhm.
But for some reason, the consumer has this mindset that says, oh, if it's cheaper, it's the same because it's insurance, right? Well,
Mhm.
that would not be true if you're comparing a Hyundai to a Mercedes, nor would it be true if you were taking your significant other out to a quick Chinese restaurant versus a steak restaurant, right? You got to get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And we just let consumers know the same is true in insurance. You're buying a legal contract, so just be aware of what's in it. But the book explains that. And then the second piece is kind of a pitch for our technology, right? Our Rate Guard platform, and Rate Guard does just this. It is the end of insurance shopping because our technology wraps, infuses, combines artificial intelligence, multivariate rating, and analytics into this engine. I know it's a lot of words, and then you throw a multisyllabic insurance word. It's like my brain's hurt. It's hurt. Stop. But if you wrap all that together in a platform that hugs the customer very tight, lets them know if a better rate exists at every renewal. And then we offer our discount discovery technology, another multisyllabic word. Insurance companies can't get away from these long words.
I love it.
But discount discovery technology is just that. It helps people find discounts, and discounts is the same as savings. And so not meaning to dominate the mic here on you, George, but
No.
two different kind of directions for that, our
Mhm.
Rate Guard and then some of my publications.
I've never thought to add up. Here's how much you're going to spend on health insurance alone. My goodness, it literally is got to be hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's also true of car insurance and homeowners insurance and life insurance. And oh my goodness, lions and tigers and bears, oh my. So it behooves me to spend that little bit amount of time that you're talking about to make sure that I am being a good steward of my premium dollars. And cheaper is not better, and it's a legal contract. So if I can get coached up and I can make good decisions on the front end, it could save me tens of thousands of dollars and or horrible headaches with trying to get a claim paid with a company that I cheaped out on.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, this is the part where people are like, oh, boring insurance talk. But you're absolutely right, because typically all people hear about our industry is the negative, the claims that weren't paid or this and that, right? And I can assure you, I work with 180 plus insurance companies. They're going to pay the claims they're required to pay. They're also not going to pay the claims they're not required to pay. And that is coverage that was not purchased. And so it's easy to go to sleep on this. It's easy just to follow a cute ad on TV and call that one and save some money and surrender some coverage. But it doesn't take that long, of a commitment, 25, 30 minutes every 6 months to have an insurance portfolio review. Again, not sexy, not exciting to most people, but when you look long term, like you just mentioned, the most expensive one, health insurance, right? Absolutely insane. How can you save on that? There's ways to be sophisticated and retain more of the risk yourself a little bit, right? But still save and still get the deductions, right? And the same for auto insurance if you have young drivers. There's a whole bunch of different things to do that, we won't go into all those on your show, because that's like, if I wanted to do an insurance agent talk, I would call somebody. But there's just a lot of really cool planning techniques that can be leveraged, levers you can pull to save. And so again, does that make it sexy and exciting? No, but if you put enough money back into your pocket, you're like, and you have some knowledge along the way, yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, well, that's sort of, I imagine, and again, it's the first time I'm really thinking about it, that we are probably more attuned right now when we have inflation going up by however much it's going up, and these little bites that are getting taken out of everywhere that we're consuming, that probably the thought of spending 25 minutes six times or twice a year is not the end of the world if it's going to help me to save money or just get a better product. And I'd like to, I think that when something's a problem, when you make it a process, then it's not that much of a problem anymore. And the first time of calling Jeff at RightSure, like, oh my gosh, what a pain. Am I really going to do that? Am I going to spend 20 minutes talking to an insurance person? But once I do that, and then that's just something that I do, then it's a lot more palatable.
Yeah, fair, right? Nothing's easy going through it the first time, or quite frankly, we're all busy. We're tired of meetings.
Yeah.
Right? We want to be distracted and get back to nothingness. So, if COVID's taught us anything, we're going to have to be very disciplined about our time and intentional, because if we don't, we'll be on 17 Zoom calls a day, and looking for a distraction. So, yeah.
Yeah. So is that, I mean, you try to train people to be good consumers. Is that something that you stress and you say, it's great that you're a client of ours now. We would like to just get this scheduled in advance, or how does it work? What is the process like?
Yeah, thank you for asking a deeper qualifying question there. So our AI, our artificial intelligence platform, right, is this deep machine learning, right? And it's just kind of this pre-built framework of code that goes into hugging this customer tighter, right? And so we have, outside of our tech folks, there's 52 folks in our call center that just focus on the outbound review process, right? And so the technology would happen like this to keep it simple. 45 days before policy renews, text goes out to the customer, hugs them really tight, says, hey, George, you renew in 45 days. Your current company is X at this rate. The exact same coverages with these other three companies are this rate, right? We also recommend, because in these inflationary times, rates are creeping up, right? That you maybe self-insure some more. What's that mean? Well, most lien holders will allow a $2,000 deductible. You're at 500. Let's go to 1,000. A lot of sophisticated things we can do if you're with the same company for 3 or 4 years. They have discount forgiveness, so you're really not out any money at claims time. You're saving money. So again, it's really deep in insurance lingo, but our technology and our rate guard platform does all of that and prompts the consumer along the way. It's like sitting in on autopilot, right? So the end of insurance shopping is what we call it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, I think it's interesting. When you're inside the jar, it's kind of hard to see what's on label and all that stuff. And when you're deep in the industry and thinking about it all the time, I think sometimes it's like, okay, this is not going to be interesting to people. But I think that the average consumer, myself included, I don't know, is it actually beneficial to stay with my car insurance company for multiple years in a row? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, could be, right? It depends. Every insurance company has consumer loyalty discounts, right? But also, unbeknownst to you, because most people don't read this insurance contract, because why? If something goes wrong, they'll just get an attorney, they think, right? But what's happened is when that renewal contract came to you, it probably said these changes have been made. What does that mean in our speak, in Insurance Geek speak? It means we most likely have had you surrender some coverages or reduced some limits on you somehow, right? Because we keep paying claims. A quick example, like if you live in the Midwest, wind and hail, right? I mean, that has gone from being just a small deductible on your home policy to 1, 2, 4, 5% of your home value. So if you have $1 million house, now all of a sudden you have a $50,000 deductible, right? Or $500,000 house, you have $25,000 deductible. People don't think about that until claims time. And so it does behoove you to not only just look at the premium dollars, but understand what you're buying. Again, you're buying a legal contract. You're only going to get what you pay for. But the questions everyone asks, this is kind of interesting, and because you're in the financial services business, we have, over 60% of our staff has secondary degrees or credentials in the insurance space, right? Legal contracts. They understand how to write this, price it, package it up. And the majority of consumers who leverage that, 40 plus folks' knowledge base, the conversation all dives down into one piece: how much, why so much, right? And I get that because we're all driven by price, and insurance is seen as this vanilla commoditized product. But the point of that statement was just understand what you're buying. And if you get the right credentialed, knowledgeable person, instead of just focusing on price all the time, focus on some coverage scenarios to be informed, right? Unfortunately, our industry is one where you learn on the backside by bad experiences instead of getting good counsel on the front end. And that's on consumers, and that's on us too, because insurance executives and folks are trying to talk value and coverage. The consumer mindset is, am I trying to be sold something? I just want to pay the least and get out. So you gotta bridge that gap.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that that's really well said. And we do have a tendency as consumers just to look at things in silos or vacuums. So I don't think about my insurance portfolio in total. I just think about car insurance, health insurance, and these are totally different. So why would I take a more comprehensive view? But as you start to dig into that, and as you start to get these messages from your carrier and say, oh, these things have adjusted a little bit, and now I'm trying to manage all those things independently, I see value. And as I do a commercial for your company, I see value in being able to just have a conversation with somebody, and just so I'm not having to comb through that stuff on my own. So thanks for doing that, Jeff.
Awesome.
I love it. Well, Jeff, the people are ready for that difference making tip. What do you have for them?
I would say after some premeditated thought, it is, what is your passion? And I know that's easy when people get that, but it's really easy to say, oh, well, I got to provide for my family, I'm working. But what one thing, if you focused on, would make a difference for you and your family?
Well, I think that is great stuff. That definitely gets, come on, being able to focus on that one thing. When you ask people that question, they have a hard time coming up with it.
Yeah, what one thing can you focus on? We're all so busy with providing, men, women too, right? But our mindset is on providing, right? And how to be a provider, how to this and that. And so we often are guilty of failing to stop and think of, like, what am I here for? What's my true passion? What one thing could I do to make the world a better place or to make my life better? So it's not easy to sit and contemplate difficult thoughts.
Yeah. Again, just getting in the habit of doing it. And once you start doing that, start to be a little bit more reflective and to dig a little bit deeper into why it is that I'm going through these motions that I'm going through every day and doing the hard things that I do every day, and to link that together. I think that makes a lot of sense. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for coming on. Where can people learn more about you? Where can they find RightSure?
Awesome. On this little thing called the interweb, the World Wide Web, RightSure is RIGHTSURE, rightsure.com. And then, my books are available on Amazon. I just a plug for my personal site, because I give away a lot of free publications on there. It's jeffarnold.com.
Excellent. Well, if you enjoyed this as much as I did, show Jeff your appreciation and share today's show with a friend who also appreciates good ideas. Go to jeffarnold.com. Check out all the great resources, find his books on there, and then find RightSure as well, and take advantage of all the tools and resources that Jeff's been talking about today. Give us the website again, Jeff.
Hello, it's rightsure.com.
Perfect. Thank you again.
Thanks so much, man.
And until next time, keep fighting the good fight. We are all in this together.